Okay, everybody, we ready to go?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, I'd like to call our meeting to order. For the record, this is Wednesday, November 1. This is our agenda meeting for the Town Council, and it's 7 p.m. We have one item of business tonight, which is a public hearing concerning the issue of the special events permit application for the Chamber of Commerce Children's Parade on December, or the second Saturday in December, whatever that date is, December 2. Okay, does the chair hear a motion for going to public hearing?
So move.
Second.
Been moved and second, we go into public hearing. Is there any discussion? There been none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed? Accordingly, we are in public hearing. Okay, our hearing tonight is to receive comments on the street and special events permit application for the Nashville Chamber of Commerce Christmas Children's Parade. Does anyone from the general public have anything to say for or against this issue? Does anyone from the general public have anything to say for or against this issue? Does anyone from the general public have anything to say for or against this issue? Okay, it's been announced 3 times. Is there any comment from the council?
Is there anyone from the chamber to present this?
I don't seem to see anyone from the, but in the past, they have already done the pre-work with everybody,
Right.
just sent us the paper, so it's always worked this way before. Okay, with no comments from anyone on the issue, we will forward this on to our legislative session on Tuesday night. Does the chair hear a motion? We got a public hearing?
So move.
Second.
Been moved and second, we go out of public hearing. Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Accordingly, we're back in regular session. It's time now for council comments, but before we move on with those, I have asked our manager and our planner to amplify a couple of things that we have got some issues with around town, or ongoing things. If I can find it, I'll put it in my machine right here. Now my machine's not working. I asked him to update us on the Lumber Street project, which is getting down to the end of it now with that house. I asked him to talk about our cross street, our cross street project, as far as that's gone, and our sewer project. Our sewer project was running along fine until we hit rock the other day coming under 64. And then the progress of our municipal service districts downtown, stuff getting ready for Christmas. Mr. Manager, are you on the planner going to do this?
I'll let Mr. Hassel address it. He's put the work in.
Okay, Mr. Hassel?
Okay. All right. Thank you for the opportunity. I'll start off with the Lumber Street project. The attorney is filing the consent judgment. At that point, we anticipate the county attorney to sign and the court-appointed attorney to sign for the heirs. At that point, he can move forward with getting the clerk to appoint a date for foreclosure sale. He anticipates with the timelines he has to meet with advertising, this will be late November, early December at best.
And that's for the final sale.
That's for the sale at the courthouse steps. When I get that date or what day it will be, I'll share it with you.
Right. Have we been keeping in contact with the neighbors over there? It's what we're doing to keep this thing.
Yes.
This thing's gone a whole lot longer than we thought it was.
Yes, sir. The gentleman came in. I believe he was coming in to pay his water bill, but when he did, he wanted to speak with me, and we had a good conversation.
Okay.
I explained to him where we were and what route we were taking, and he said he would just keep staying in touch.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Yep. And the Cross Street project, I'll be happy to tell you that you will see it on your agenda next week. We do have the right-of-way agreement in hand, so you'll have a resolution and a right-of-way agreement to consider at next week's meeting for that.
Okay.
The importance of that is everything is obviously due process. You can't ask Duke Power or Sunlink or anybody to move their utilities until you have the right-of-way secured. So when we get these things secured, which is really just us and the Edwards property next door to us, then they can move forward with moving the utilities. At that point, once the utilities are moved, or when they have a better timeline on when they'll be moved, that's when Mr. Liverman will give us a better update on when he can actually start moving dirt.
Okay. Since we're going across pretty much open land up there, what is the utility complications? Is it a real serious problem?
Yes, sir. All the poles are in the way.
All the poles?
The Duke Power poles are in the way. And they're also co-locate poles, which means there's other utilities on them.
Okay.
So not only do we have to move the poles, but they also have to get the other companies to go along with it. And,
Who's bearing the cost of the pole moving?
not us. We've already spent every money that we're going to spend on this project.
Right.
So this is all encompassed inside the project total with the
Okay.
DOT.
Super.
Yes,
super.
sir.
Okay.
The sewer project, we're more than halfway through with the pipe. The mayor is correct. We did hit rock. We are currently boring underneath 64. We're about 8 to 9 feet deep, and we're trying to go 100 feet. We can only move about 5 feet a day at this point because we're doing a lot of it by hand. We do have the rock bit on the machine, but it's not but so safe to continue to use the rock bit, so they're doing a lot of stuff the hard way. They have dug, I guess, test holes on the Womble Street, and on one side of Womble Street, there's some rock down there. On the other side, it's not rock. So at some point underneath Womble, they feel like it switches back to dirt. So right now is by far the hardest part of the project. If we can make it through these 2 bores, we're home free. I have our next update meeting November the 15th with the contractor and the engineers. At that point, I hope that we're through boring. I can't promise you we will be, but I have a lot better idea on the budget and the timeline and everything that you're going to want to know. That's November 15th, and I have a whole lot more
So as far as we
info.
know, we're still on the end of the year schedule.
Right now we are.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
beautiful.
The Municipal Service District has been a fun project to work on. If you've ridden through town recently, yesterday we actually cut down the Christmas tree. We removed the stump this morning. We're going to replace it with a Christmas tree next week is the plan. The ryegrass is in place, and then also the perennials and some of the roses were planted today. Our goal is to have that island looking really good for the Christmas parade. We will be cutting back the crepe myrtles here in short order as well. The banners and the brackets for the new holiday flags were bid out, and that has been awarded. And those should be in hand by November the 19th, because usually Larry's guys put those up with a bucket truck the week of Thanksgiving. We ordered 75, so it might take them a little longer than usual, so just bear with them, but we're going to get everything looking really good for Christmas this year. We did a similar project with the pole decorations. We ordered 30 of those and 30 brackets.
What are the pole decorations?
It's the cutout design that we came up with, and there'll be some type of Christmas ornaments.
Okay.
And they're going to go from the McDonald's end of town on Washington Street up to CVS. So that'll be Christmas decorations, and then Barn Street, Church Street, and Body Street, all the little connector streets, they'll have the banners.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Good, good.
So that's where we are with those projects. So you'll be seeing a lot of little things go on, but it is worth you guys knowing when we are out there in the battleship, making some changes if anybody asks you.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
You're
Any
welcome.
questions of our planner?
What about the decorations on up the street, Washington Street? There are a lot of complaints about those.
Yes, ma'am. I can't spend any money past CVS
Okay,
on the
so-
municipal service district. If we want to do that, it'll have to be out of another funding source.
So at this point, the same decorations will go up.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, maybe this year we get all the lights burning in all the, all the trees. I
Yes,
heard that last night too. Okay.
We only fund around $1,000 in the Public Works Department for Christmas decorations, and we had floated when we had our work session about spending the money that we normally budget for that for town facilities to improve some things, but we hadn't made any decision about that. But with the limited money that we budgeted over time, it's not a whole lot to address decorations,
Right.
especially when you're looking to have consistency with patterns and different materials you have out. $1,000 or so doesn't go very far.
Just to tag on that, the decorations that we bought in the municipal service district, the lit ones I'm talking about, they're $425 a piece with the bracket.
But they are very permanent, aren't they?
Oh, yes. I mean, we're going to take them up and down, but they're a lot more durable than what the other ones are.
Exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
Will the banners come in a changeable form so we can change them every year or rotate them in some form, but they should be the same thing year after year?
Well, we can do different seasons, and the good thing about doing that is, like I was telling Hank earlier today, when you buy banners, for example, this year, we bought 75 banners and brackets. Going forward, I won't have to buy brackets anymore. It'll just be flags. So if we want Thanksgiving flags or summer flags or whatever we want, I already have the brackets, and so it'll save a tremendous amount of cost. For example, the banners and the brackets together were just over $7,500. If it was just going to be the flags, it would have been right around $3,000. So right now, what you'll be seeing is a green flag or a green banner with a Christmas tree on it, and it'll say, "Welcome to Nashville, Happy Holidays," in red lettering.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, we'll see where it goes then. Okay, comments. Mr. Taylor?
I guess you can answer this for me, Brian.
Yeah.
You mentioned the poll a few minutes ago. Can anybody tell me when they're gonna replace that broken pole in front of Strickland's Equipment Company?
Yeah, the one that got broke last week.
I didn't know when it got broke. I just know it's
Yeah.
been broke for a few
I
days.
think it was, don't mistake me, Larry, it was either late last week or early this week. My days kind of run together. But we had the same problem at Hilliard and Washington earlier. Usually they go and put a new pole and they secure it, and then another crew comes back and gets the other pole and removes it. But I'll try to get a better answer when that timeline is, because you would think they would do it all at the same time, but they don't do it at the same time.
I think I noticed today that they have set a pole, I think,
Yeah, the other pole's set, yes, sir.
but nothing is holding the other pole
Right.
except for the wiring itself.
That's right.
Rest of the council, I'm quite sure everybody else got the letter that we received from Larry Williams
Yeah.
about his pending
Retirement.
retirement.
Yeah.
I hope that the town is gonna have something to do for him
Yeah.
on his last day or prior to that.
I'm sure we will.
We need to get something going.
Yeah.
And since we don't have the general public here, everybody's employed by the town, but to all those over here that can, I wish you would go out and don't forget to go out and vote next Tuesday. That's it, Mayor.
Mr. Taylor?
No comment.
Ms. Hinton?
Brian, I was gonna ask you, the Lumber Street project, how long has that been going on? What is the timeline?
Well, I've been here 3 years, and it was going on before I got here. But the best I could tell, at some point you guys decided to use a trust account to try to do a tax foreclosure. Liz apparently backed off because there were some liens on there that were pretty costly, and some of those liens were going to fall off over time. And then I believe it was last year sometime we wanted to get back on it. And so, and of course then Liz left, and then Mike Gaynor left. So Trey actually really started working on it this past February. So I would say probably 2011, 2012 is when you probably started working on it. But the reality is the legal process that we're in right now is February until right now.
So the ball was dropped. That's
I-
what it amounts to.
I think that some of it was done on purpose to avoid that lien, but between that lien falling off in February, I couldn't tell you.
But that's very disheartening for something to go on that long.
Yeah.
And it's disheartening for the people in the neighborhood.
Yep.
That's what's really sad. The Elm Street Drainage Project. Okay, we received a $500,000 grant, correct, from Golden Leaf? Oh, now, I was under the impression that that project was about $892,000.
Well, it's still an estimate. We don't know the exact cost at this moment.
Where did that number come from?
An estimate.
$892,441.74.
That's an estimate.
That was, I think that's the amount of money that asked Golden Leaf for,
Mhm.
and they came under that, amount. And the engineers going back and refiguring what they could do with what they've got to work up towards that $800,000 number. And I haven't heard the end of it yet.
Remember, our last project was $607,000 over
Yeah, but
the lowest
this,
bid.
yeah, the money that they gave us, that 500,000, is for our end of the project. What's on the county project, they get what's left over, they got to fund it themselves.
So this is gonna be a joint effort?
That's
From what I-
correct.
from what I understand.
All right, so we're not on the hook for the remainder.
for all
Should
of
it be more than 500,000?
I would anticipate it's going to be more than 500,000, but most grants that we apply for are typically split through some type of percentage, like CMAQ grants we get for sidewalks are 80-20, so we have to contribute 20% of whatever the cost is that we contribute. This is a flat 500,000, so if it's more than 500,000, anything above that we're obligated to. Now, obviously, we'd like it to be as close to 500,000 as possible, but until we get some more solid figures, it's gonna be hard to know. It could be quite a range. We feel confident that it's not gonna be more than that figure, but I can't tell you how close to between that 892 and 500 it's gonna be, but I would expect it closer to the 892 than 500. And as far as costs, that would be something we would have to negotiate with Nash County, how that cost would be allocated. I've had a preliminary conversation, but nothing in any depth.
Okay, it says the application totals 892.40.41.74. So somebody came up with an estimate there.
That
Was
was
that the engineers?
That was an estimate by Stocks Engineering.
Okay, Stocks Engineering came up with this
Correct,
for the total project.
correct.
Okay, and,
But that's an estimate. I mean, the construction costs change every day, and as the economy keeps improving, that's gonna continue to go up. So the longer we delay this project, the more we're gonna pay for it. So that's why it's always gonna be an estimate. Now, they felt they were estimating very conservatively on our side, to try and get that grant. But when you get down there and have to do real figures and bid this project out, this project hasn't been bid. So that they're doing their best to try and guess what they think another company would come in and bid this project for. But they could bid 1.2 million, they could bid 600,000. We don't know. They're doing their best to give us a price, but, you know, they're professionals, but they can be wrong.
But the county, but like the mayor said, all of the 500,000 is the Nashville's part of it. The county is not coming to play at all on it yet.
Now,
So
What-
anything over the 500,000
Anything over the 500,000, the town of Nashville and Nash County
and Nash County.
we'll have to work out how
Right.
much to pay for. Golden Leaf is out of it. They give us the 500,000 and, you know, they're done. It's not a matter of can we get more money or change the contribution. It's just a flat 500,000. It's left to us in Nash County to figure out how we pay for the rest of
so,
it.
right now, we're looking at 400,000, but that could be fuzzy, because we don't really know.
No, we don't.
No,
So 400,000, we're probably still on the hook for.
that's very possible.
Well, that'd be a combination between us and Nash County.
County.
But our estimate on the part that we got the 500,000 for, our first estimate, they're looking on the street was like $280,000.
Exactly.
So we may be able to do what we need to do and still have money left over from that 500,000 to work on the county part.
Well,
So we'll see where that goes.
the 200-some thousand we were talking about is what was presented when we first presented stormwater information and discussing creating that department. The scope of the project of what that was and what the scope of this project is are not the same. This is a much larger, more extensive project than that narrow project was going to be. But what we found is Nash County's issues and our issues feed into one another. So it doesn't make a lot of sense for one of us to fix issues on our side and them not fix it on their side and vice versa.
So the 200,000 under the jail is part of this?
That's part of it, but it's more than just that one piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
It looks like it's ever growing.
The whole project goes all the way up to Austin Street.
Well, it goes all the way through the lift station, it goes all the way back to the parking lot that Richardson Funeral Home parks at. It goes to that point, so it's a pretty extensive project. But when you're dealing with piping, it doesn't do a lot of good to fix one section of it, and then you have issues on another part you gotta tear out and fix it later. And you're having to put a sewer camera in to investigate these things. You're gonna pay more to fix it in pieces than to do it all at one time and do it right. And when it's an infrastructure project, you know, at some point you've gotta fix it. So when someone gives you $500,000, you utilize it.
I'm just concerned about this one because our last one was $607,000 over the lowest bid. And I'm wondering if this is gonna be the same way.
Well,
You know, the way it's leading up.
well, let's see what the estimates come in to be, because we don't know what we're gonna do till they get the thing bid. And then we'll deal with the county. They should be in a generous mood. Okay, other comments, ma'am? Okay. All right, I have here quarterly publication of the Council of Governments, the regional reporter. It's got all sorts of projects they've worked on in here, which is a lot of things they've done in the last 90 days. I'll give this to the clerk if anybody wants to read it, because, you know, we're a member of that, and they do a lot of stuff around for governments. Okay, all right. Don't forget to vote next week. When we come in next week, we should be seeing things much more clearly. Okay,
And we did set our meeting for next Wednesday instead of
Wednesday,
Tuesday.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, be advised, our first Tuesday meeting will be now the first Wednesday because of the election
Because
day.
of election.
Okay,
Being no further business, I move to adjourn.
okay.
Second.
The chair will entertain your motion. It's been a second. All in favor indicate so by saying yes.
Yes.
I think that was a majority. Okay. All right, we're adjourned. We stand adjourned. Thank you.
Louis,
I don't want to strangle.
Louis said, yeah.